Welcome to the Drowsy Dragon. This video has all the information that you need about the new system, the Void Assaults, coming in patch 12.0.5. This will release on the 21st of April. So there's two things to do here. You've got the ritual sites and the Void Incursions. We'll take a look at what those are all about, and then we'll take a look at all the rewards. So, in Silvermoon City, here on the map, you will notice some NPCs have gathered and now have quests relating to this system. There are some vendors with various offerings, but we'll check those out later in the video. So, first of all, the ritual sites. Now, these are outdoor world content, but they are instanced. So it's sort of like a delve, but out in the open world. It functions very similarly to delves in a couple of ways. You queue in, you just need one person to queue in if you're doing it in a group, and they can be done solo or with a group of up to 5 players. You simply interact with the obelisk to queue up, just like you would at the door of a delve, and then once inside you kill mobs to progress it, and then there's a boss at the end. So you can see, very similar to delves. Now these will either be active in Eversong Woods or Zulaman, and they'll just swap over each week. Whichever zone does not currently have an active ritual site in it, will instead have Void Incursions, which we'll look at shortly. The best thing to do when starting out on patch release day is to head to Silvermoon at coordinates 4850 and pick up any of the quests that are on offer, and then go and do your first ritual site. You do have to start off on the lower tiers and then do each rank to unlock all the difficulties. Completing the quests from Silvermoon, and some quests which you can find during the active ritual site instance, you will unlock different affixes that you can add to further ritual site runs, which make them harder in various ways, but also increase the amount of spoils that you get from completing them. Once you unlock all of these new dangers, you do get an achievement for doing so. So this is how you can track if you've got them all, and then you can see if you're missing any. And you should be able to unlock all of these during your first 1 or 2 completions. Just make sure you get all the quests from Silvermoon before you go in for the first time. You'll also unlock a new renown reputation for the ritual sites, which will empower you as you progress through the ranks and unlock access to some of the better rewards. Once you've done the introduction quests, you will get a weekly quest to go and deal with the Void Assaults in the currently active area, which will reward you with a pinnacle cache, granting crests, coffer key shards, gold, and some of the new currencies. So in terms of the actual gameplay during the ritual site, it's pretty simple. You get a basic objective, so this one here in Eversong was to kill 3 Void monsters and 3 of the sort of Naga lieutenants. Once you've done that, there's a mini-boss, and when you kill the mini-boss, there's a boss. So very straightforward in terms of gameplay. It does get a bit hectic as you go up the ranks. Of course, the mobs will have more health and deal more damage, combined with any of those added affixes that you simply just toggle on with the UI when you are just about to queue up for a run. It does get pretty hectic at times, but it's not too difficult. And like I say, you can do these in a group, so if you struggle to do these solo, don't worry. So that's basically everything about ritual sites. Let's take a look at the Void Incursions and the Void Strikes. So these are proper open world content, unlike the ritual sites which are instanced. They are very reminiscent of the pre-patch event that we had in terms of how they function. There will be an area marked on the map where the current Void Incursions are happening. It seems there's only one available at any given time. Once one is completed, a new one will immediately begin somewhere else in the zone. You get them in stages, so it's not just a case of going and killing just one boss or one rare. This one, for example, I had to kill smaller mobs, and then there were 5 lieutenant type mobs, and then the big guy at the end. Hence why it reminded me of the rares in the Twilight Highlands during the pre-patch. But there is some variation. This one was actually in Armanizar village, and it involved defending the village by rooting out infiltrators. Now I'm sure when these release, it will just simply be a case of joining a group that's going around and stomping them, and just doing that until the Void Incursion begins. So the strikes are the smaller ones that are available basically all the time, that rotate, and the Void Incursion will only trigger when enough Void Strikes have been completed. You will see on the map once again where the Void Incursion will begin once it's triggered, and you'll see the progress bar as well, so you know when it's time to head over to the Void Incursion to get involved in that. Now on the PTR, this was taking a very long time to spawn. Completing Void Strikes got the bar up by about 1 to 2%, so again, not sure how this is going to be when it's actually on live, but I would imagine they don't want us to complete 50 Void Strikes in order to get one Void Incursion. That would be pretty mental. So because of this, I didn't actually see the Void Incursions on the PTR, because they just never triggered simply, and I was not willing to spend 64 hours doing it myself. But it is likely to be more of the same, basically just mini objectives and then kill the big boss at the end. So let's take a look at the rewards, the achievements and the currencies. So there are 2 new currencies. The Field Accolade, these are the main currency with this new system, and this will be found in your currencies tab, so it won't be filling up your bags, thankfully. You do get them from completing either the Void Assaults and the Void Strikes, or the Ritual Sites. More of them come from the Ritual Sites though, and the quest completions, particularly the weeklies. Now you also get Dark Particles. These are used for purchasing more Field Accolades from Merrin Silverwing at the Void Assaults hub. You can trade 100 particles for 10 Field Accolades. I do wonder why this was necessary and why we didn't simply just get more Field Accolades from the get-go, but there we go. I suppose you can simply just farm mobs, so this is one way to get lots of these Dark Particles, which you can then trade in for the Field Accolades, so this could be one strategy for gearing alts, because Merrin is the one who will sell you Champion and Hero Track gear for Field Accolades. But it is 500 accolades for one piece of hero gear, so it's going to take some grinding. You've then got the Renown as well, so this does unlock during the very short introductory quest chain. You start earning it right away. You can get more power-ups while you're in the ritual site, such as better healing from the little regeneration orbs that drop down, and you can unlock better rewards the further you progress through the journey. At Renown 6, you can purchase the Void-infused Mindbender Fry and the Void Touch Dragonhawk battle pets from Sergeant Vornin at the hub. At Renown 8, you can buy the Void Touch Hawkstrider mount, and then once you complete the 2 achievements, Void Response Team and Ritual Site Disruptor, you can buy this really cool Unbound Mana Worm. There are some other Void Corrupted mounts you can get with this system. You've got the Lynx. Now this appears to drop from treasures and rare spoils in either of the ritual sites, but then you've got the Hex Eagle. This drops slightly from the end chest of the Zolaman ritual site, and then the Snapdragon. Now this seems to be from the Eversong Woods ritual site, likely the chest at the end. You will also unlock new decor for purchase as you climb the renown levels, sold by the vendor Rayana. Some Void-infused offerings such as the floating desks, the parchment, the candle and the inkwell, as well as the dark obelisk, which is the thing that you interact with to begin a ritual site instance, so I'm not sure if this is going to be interactable, but probably not. And then the controversial one, you've got the Void Recoloured Tier 2 sets. Now these are purchased from Field Accolades. What you do with this though is you simply buy one of the slot pieces, so for example a Void Infused headpiece, and when you use the item it will just give you a random class's headpiece, for example. So there is no way to specifically target the armor set for your class. However, once you've gotten a piece, say for example you open it and get the Hunter helmet, the next time you buy the helmet piece, you will not get the Hunter helmet, so basically it rules that out. So eventually you will get the one that you want, but of course if you get really unlucky, you're going to have to get all the other classes' helmets first and then the one that you actually want, which has of course annoyed a lot of people before the system is even released. And moving on from that, you've got achievements. There are many achievements to be earned. So completing ritual sites with those affixes you unlock, for example, you've got achievements for completing them in a group of 3 or more, and for completing them on the harder difficulties while solo, and many more. There's a ton of achievement points to be had from this, and of course remember that one of them is tied to unlocking the Unbound Mana Worm. 2 of them actually. So definitely worth chipping away at these achievements when the system releases. So, let me know what you think about the Void Assaults. And if you have any questions, please do let me know in the comments and I'll be happy to help. Alternatively, come and join us on Discord and jump into the Half-Fire chat and we can discuss things there. Thank you very much for watching. If you did enjoy this video today, please do leave it a like and subscribe to support the channel and to get more content all about World of Warcraft from me, the Drowsy Dragon. Do join us on Discord or follow me over on Twitch, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching guys, I've been the Drowsy Dragon, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.